Hi, everyone, and welcome to China Editions, to our live stream. It's been a while since our previous live stream, but I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to just go over the fact that we are going to be having an open day next week on Thursday, which is going to be the 18th of January at 2 p.m. Beijing time. So we're going to have a Chinese Open Day. So a bunch of different Chinese universities are going to be joining us. So we'll be releasing the schedule pretty soon with the different universities. So you'll be able to keep up with that. But basically, yes, it's a great opportunity if you want to apply for the September intake of 2024, or if you're gathering some research for a future intake, or if you have someone that you know that wants to apply as well, then you can do that. And you can register and join. So usually how it goes is that you're going to be registering on the link. We're going to have it down below, so you can join that, and then we can the universities will do an introduction, and they'll have 15 minutes to introduce the university, the programs they have, some scholarship opportunities if there are any, their dormitory options as well. And then you also have a Q&A session as well with the university. So you can leave your questions in the Q&A box and we'll get back to them, or the teacher will directly respond in their Q&A session as well. So if you are interested in applying for the September intake of this year, the applications are open, and we do recommend students to apply sooner rather than later. We do also yeah, so I'll get to your question just now. So yes, it is a great opportunity, and a lot of students they don't submit their applications until it's a bit too late. So the university application deadlines generally are in May and June of every year for the year that you want to go. So for September intake, the majority of the deadlines are in May and June, but it is recommended to apply as soon as possible. Some of the university programs, their deadlines are much earlier. Um, not Tianjin, sorry, Tsinhua's program deadline is actually very soon. It's in January. And there are a couple others, like the top universities, their deadlines are actually only in a couple months. Some of them are a month from now, some of them are only 2 months from now, which doesn't give you a lot of time to submit your application. So just keep this in mind. The Chinese universities, they accept students on a rolling basis. The earlier you apply, the earlier you'll find out whether you have been accepted or not. And this is very beneficial to you, and it will help you, it will give you the highest chance of being accepted. Also, this doesn't happen all the time, but occasionally, sometimes the university is very close to the deadline, maybe a day before the deadline. They might not be accepting any more applications as they are already full and have given all the spots already to other students. So in that case, we really can't do very much. So we don't recommend applying at the very, very last minute. Or some students think that if the deadline is in May, then they can only start the application in May. That's not true. You can start your application already, and you can find out pretty soon after the Chinese New Year regarding your application status. So I'm going to go into some of the questions that we have over here. So if you do have questions, please leave them down below, whether it's regarding the application for applying to Chinese universities, life in China, or the open day as well. So just keep in mind that we are an application agency, so we help you apply to the universities, but we do not help with visa applications, and we can't give you advice regarding something that you might need to find out rather from the visa application center close to you, or if it's regarding scholarships. We also do not assist with scholarship applications, so we're not the most like the latest up to date with all of the exact scholarships that might be available. So if you do want to apply with us and you want to apply for a scholarship, you will have to apply for the scholarship by yourself. So let me see the question here from Natty. Natty says he's from Ethiopia. Wonderful. And wanted to ask about working and if it's allowed to work in China. So this is something that you should check with your local Chinese embassy. Before, it was completely illegal to work while you were studying. And now they have made some small changes to this law where they do allow a very, very small amount of work, and it has to be a certain type of work as well. So you can't just get any part-time job that you want or accept anything, and it can't just be like an under-the-table type of job either. So please check with your local embassy regarding these rules on working as a student in China, as they will have the most up-to-date information about this. So we've also received a couple of different messages from people asking about the March intake of this year and wanting to start studying in 2 months from now. So, unfortunately, the majority of the programs have closed for the March intake, as the deadlines for the March intake are generally at the end of December. There are a couple, and I really do mean only a couple of different universities that still have an intake open. But also keep in mind that not a lot of universities have a March intake for their degree programs. Generally, the programs that are open for the March intake are Chinese language programs or non-degree programs like a foundation program. Occasionally, there might be a bachelor's program available to start, but generally, they're all starting in September, as this is when the academic year starts in China. So just keep this in mind. I know that there are a very few amount of Chinese language programs that are still open, like Zhejiang University of Science and Technology is still open, ZEST. So if you do want to study in China and you want to do a Chinese language program, please apply as soon as possible. The reason why it's very difficult to start studying within 2 months is because the university has to accept has to get your documents and check all the documents, and then they have to get your visa application documents and send them to you. From next week, there's going to be a holiday, the winter holidays for the universities, which means that they're going to be closed and not reviewing any more applications. So your application has to be sent through as soon as possible if you want to do this. And then once you receive the document, you also have to take it to the visa application center, which a lot of visa application centers will soon be closing with the Chinese Spring Festival. And then you have to get the paperwork and then go to China within the registration period and not miss any of your classes. So that's why it takes a bit of extra work in order to coordinate everything. So Maloney has just joined and also asked if you're allowed to work and study at the same time in China as a foreigner. That's the question I just answered. I'll give a brief answer, but just keep in mind just keep in mind that we can't really give you the best information regarding legalities in China as we help you apply to universities. Previously, you were not allowed to work at all as a student. It was completely illegal. And now they've made some small changes. So you may be able to do a small amount of work, but it has to be a specific type of work. It has to be something regarding your major, and it can't just be any kind of job that you can find, any kind of part-time job. So please check with your local visa application center, their website. You can email them, or you can check your embassy, your Chinese embassy, regarding the legalities of working while studying in China, and they'll have the most up-to-date information for you. So yes, generally for Chinese language programs, I do recommend them quite a lot. Some people do them as they're taking maybe a sabbatical from work. Some people, they are taking a gap year after studying. And some people, they really just want to prepare their Chinese while being able to experience some of the culture before they enroll in a Chinese taught program. Overall, it's a great experience for everyone. Okay, again, we have another question regarding working in China and wanting to work in China. We do not assist with job applications or anything like that. We only assist with helping students to apply to universities. As I think the general theme here is very similar. I feel like I've gone over it quite a couple of times. I think this could be the end of the live stream. So if this has been very helpful to you, you can send this to some of your friends who might need to hear this information. Just keep in mind that next week we are going to have our Chinese University Online Open Day, where you can also talk to the different universities. So please be sure to register down below.